The story and analysis is an encounter written by James Joyce. James Joyce was an Irish novelist and short story writer. An encounter is a part of the collection of 15 short stories named Dubliners. All of these stories, and especially an encounter, depict an ordinary middle class life in and around Dublin in 20th century. I believe that the idea of the story might have come as the author's childhood memories, and all the stories are influenced by the experience he got in his early years. The story describes the memories of the narrator when he studied at school and decided to skip a studying day in order to seek for adventures with his friends. The story has clear indications of setting. The action is set in Dublin, Ireland. Pointing to Dublin is a number of place names. For example, Wharf Road is one of the streets where the main characters walked, and it's actually situated in Dublin. What is more, the aim of the heroes is to see something which is called the Pigeon House instead of going to school. In fact, it's the former generating station that is used to be called the Pigeon House, and it is also situated in Dublin. The time of the action is not directly stated. There are only indirect references to the time period in which the action is set. In the very beginning, we see the names of the magazines and stories: the Union Jack, Pluck, and the Halfpenny Marvel, which were written and published in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. By these facts, we can say that the time of the actions is late 19th century, early 20th century. The story is a first-person narrative. It is being told by an unnamed narrator who recounts to the reader one of his childhood memories. From the very beginning, all the events are shown from the narrator's point of view. We don't know the feelings and thoughts of the other characters. That indicates that omniscient point of view is limited. The story starts with the introduction of the main characters, the narrator and his friends Leo Dillon and Mahoney. Leo Dillon informs the boys of the Wild West world. This world was new to the narrator. He's caught up with the adventures he reads in American detective stories, and he's also involved in a day-lasting game with Leo and Mahoney, in which they turn in Indians and cowboys. But according to the narrator, it isn't enough for him. He wants more. The author shows that the hero is a typical young boy who is dissatisfied with the boring dinginess of Dublin life, believing that real adventures wait for him outside. Here, the American stories which boys read are considered to be a symbol of freedom: freedom from living in such tiny and boring city, freedom from school they don't like at all, and so on. In order to feel the real life, he and his friends make an agreement to skip one day of school, pretending to be ill, and visit the Pigeon House, a building in Dublin. The next day they meet, but without their friend Leo. The author explains very clearly the feelings of the narrator and how he is excited with the imminent journey. He sleeps badly, he's first to come to the bridge where they decided to meet up, and he is really self-prepared for adventure. He even makes his shoes ready for a long path. Quote, admiring my frail canvas shoes, which I had diligently pipe-clayed overnight, end of the quote. As the story unfurls, the tension grows, the adventure seems to be a disappointment to the boys. They are wandering along the city until they get tired and go to the open field. Picturing the city, the author highlights the boys' willingness to escape from the everyday city routine. Quote, noisy streets, squalid streets where families of fishermen lives, end of the quote, and Mahoney's thought of running away to sea. They are tired of everything and try to fulfill their day with some new emotions. The rising moment in the story is boys' tiredness and inability to reach their pigeon house, the aim of their adventure. This very moment is crucial in the story. Their physical state doesn't let them fulfill their dream, and they have to go back to their ordinary life. By this passage, the author shows that instead of the exciting adventure, the boys have nothing at all. On their way home, the boys reach the field and decide to have a rest on a bank. This moment shows how they try to analyze their long and tedious journey. They lay silent, not talking to each other. The next event makes a little tension to a reader as the old man who is walking near the bank seems to be strange. He's supposed to appear suddenly, weird looking and walking alone. The climax of the story comes when the man starts sharing his strange fantasies about children. The narrator feels that something is wrong with the man and runs away calling for his friend. I believe this meant to be a common image of hidden stranger that the children were not prepared for. The adventure was ruined by the backside of the city life and they don't know anything about it. The tone and the mood of the story are changing from the beginning to the very end. In the beginning, we find ourselves in a pleasant June sunny day. The author uses a really detailed picture of nature, the state of the air, the colors of the trees and grass. Quote, it was a mild sunny morning in the first week of June. All the branches of the tall trees which lined the mall were gay with little light green leaves, and the sunlight slanted through them onto the water. The granite stone of the bridge was beginning to be warm. End of the quote. A reader can feel a cozy and fresh atmosphere created by the author. As the story unfurls, we are immersing in the stuffiness and heat of an industrial city and want to run away with boys. When with the image of field, the reader relaxes with the boys, but soon a sense of tension and distrust comes with the appearance of the old man. Sympathizing the main characters, we worry and hope that nothing bad happened to them. I admire the way the author keeps the reader's attention. The author encapsulates many significant moral issues, including danger, adventure, isolation, disappointment, education, growing, and escape. I believe that story mostly touches upon themes of disappointment and escape. To begin with, disappointment is the feeling that accompanies boys from the very beginning. Boring lessons, teachers who don't understand modern literature, all of these things make the main characters disappointed in the system of education, disappointed with the system of education. They believe that real life is different, and if school doesn't prepare them, they will try themselves. Next, before their journey started, they're disappointed that not all friends share their ideas and want to escape from everyday routine. The moment when their friend Leo doesn't come to meeting, then they realize that not everything happens as they want, and their dreams of perfect adventure are ruined by boring reality. They're too tired to reach their pigeon house. What is more, the adventure becomes not only boring but also dangerous. They meet that strange old man who makes sexual fantasies about Mahoney. They are disappointed with the people, and this is the last straw for them. I believe that disappointment is the way they overcome their growing. They make mistakes, they learn by them, and start to understand a world a little bit more. To my mind, this is a necessary part of a character formation of each person. The next theme, which is deeply discussed, is the theme of a person's willingness for escaping from the monotonous day-to-day life. a feeling which most people will experience at some point of their lives. The author suggests that even we seek for adventurous and extraordinary life, the routine is inexorable. Inexorable. The narrator achieves this by adding uncertainty in the portraits of characters and images of city, and also writing through first-person narrative with inner monologues to highlight the awareness of the main character and also to reveal dubious feelings of other characters. The hero's desire to achieve freedom. Characters searching for such an escape often, and it is described how they would wish to travel to achieve it. These feelings are described in words of the main character. Quote, real adventures, I reflected, do not happen to people who remain at home. They must be sought abroad. End of the quote. In the story, the author develops the theme in the form of the inner monologue, the thoughts of the narrator when he ponders over Wild West. Here, Wild West is an open gate to freedom by stories which the boys have read. To sum everything up, this story is considered to be informative for both teenagers and adults. It explores many significant issues that should be discussed with children, not only through pages of book, but also face to face. I believe that this story has left a sense of sorrow for boys, and also it helped me to go back in my memory and recall my childhood dreams and aims. Every child faces a boredom of everyday life, but not all children can fight with it and make it positive.